Hey guys, Josh here from LiberSeed. I'm going to explain to you why I think that the scale of civilization is actually the problem that we have, and all of the problems stem from scale. So why true sustainability requires small societies. Modern civilization is built on scale. Governments grow larger, corporations expand, and cities sprawl endlessly. But as societies scale up, individuals lose influence, communities fragment, and our connection to the land and each other disappears. The modern world allows for unprecedented amounts of mobility and capacity to be anonymous. People can quit jobs, move to new places, and reinvent themselves over and over again. While this might seem like freedom, it actually leads to a lack of accountability, weak social bonds, and a decline in meaningful human relationships. To build a truly sustainable and fulfilling way of life, we must halt large-scale technology advancements and return to small, self-sustaining communities of no more than about 200 people, which is about 40 families. This model ensures that true democracy can function, trade and specialization are kept in check, the physical landscape is transformed into a natural paradise, governance is no longer necessary, and people are held accountable for their actions within the community, a self-governed community. True democracy, it only works at a small scale. How many people can you fit in a room? Well, that's true representation. So today we are told we live in a democratic societies, but real democracy is impossible in large populations. When a society grows beyond a certain point, individuals must elect representatives rather than making decisions directly for themselves. These representatives often prioritize their own interests, corporate influences, or party politics over the will of the people. In a small community of roughly like 200 people, democracy can function as it was meant to. Every family has a say, and every decision are made collectively. There are no career politicians, no bureaucratic inefficiencies, and no corruption fueled by money or power. So why large-scale democracy fails, you might be asking. Your vote is insignificant. In a country of millions, your voice is lost in the crowd. Special interests take control, so politicians serve corporations and not really the people. Companies lobby all the time for different bills to be passed and different regulation to happen, because at the end of the day, there's so much money involved in that. And decisions are detached from reality, so governments make choices for entire nations without understanding local needs. So countries are so large and nations are so large, the decision made on a large scale will impact different local communities differently, and you might need something slightly different for your local community that is not even considered. So by returning to small self-governing communities, democracy becomes real again. Every voice matters, and decisions are made with everyone's survival and well-being in mind, because it's co-survival. That's the important part. So why trade and specialization leads to the collapse? One of the key drivers of modern civilization is trade and specialization, a division of labor. As communities begin trading with one another, individuals no longer need to be self-sufficient. Instead, they can focus on one skill or industry while relying on others to provide the other necessities. So at first, this increases efficiency, but over time it leads to dependency on external goods. People lose essential survival skills. Consumerism and mass production. Products are made for profit, not necessity. And there's a social fragmentation that happens. People interact primarily through economic transactions rather than genuine relationships. So to prevent this, a small community must restrict its trade. So by producing enough everything locally, people maintain direct control over their own survival and avoid the pitfalls of economic dependency on other people. So convenience is not always the answer, and convenience is a byproduct of scale. And so humans crave convenience, cars, fast food, online shopping, but these luxuries come at a cost. And we've got to weigh up that cost in comparison to the things that you give up, the potential hardships, over convenience. Convenience makes us disconnected and weak. A hands-on lifestyle, growing food, making tools, building homes, it restores a sense of purpose and belonging. When people are directly involved in their own survival, they value their work, they respect their resources, and build stronger communities. The social responsibility of a small community is much larger and greater within a small community as opposed to larger. One of the biggest problems with modern society is that there's an ease of escape. So if somebody's irresponsible, is not kind, or even outright destructive, they can simply just leave. They can quit their job. They can move to a new city. They can reinvent themselves. I've seen that happen personally, where somebody's just is not fantastic. He wasn't a fantastic man, and he moved to a different place. He joined new groups, and then he ended up just reinventing himself. He wore different clothes. He told new stories about how his life was. And it just made me think, you don't really know the person because everybody's putting on a mask. So work in a lifelong commitment to a community solves that problem. In modern economies, jobs are transactional. People work for a paycheck, not for their community's survival. If they dislike their job, they can quit and find another one. So this allows people to behave selfishly because there is no lasting accountability. In a small, self-sufficient society where work is a responsibility to the group, people don't labour for wages, but to ensure that food is grown, homes are built, and children are raised properly. If someone refuses to work, the entire community will suffer, which creates a powerful incentive for everyone to contribute fairly. Another major flaw in society, modern society, is that people can behave poorly without lasting consequences. So if you mistreat others, you can move and start over again. If you refuse to take responsibility, you can rely on government welfare. If you commit crimes, you may face punishment, but you can always disappear into a new environment. In a small, closed society, there is no escape. Your reputation follows you. If you are dishonest, selfish, or lazy, everybody's going to know about it. There is no hiding behind being anonymous. There are responsibilities. So you are responsible for your action, and you must repair broken relationships rather than abandon them. Social pressure encourages good behaviour because everyone relies on each other. Helping others is not an option, it's actually expected. The social construct naturally encourages morality, cooperation, and accountability. There are no police, no courts, no bureaucratic investigations or intervention. Only people working together to maintain harmony. So reclaiming the land, a world without industry, in a world adopted by small-scale communities, the physical landscape would change dramatically. Modern society devotes enormous amounts of land to infrastructure. You got highways and roads cutting through nature for long distance travel, factories and warehouses producing unnecessary consumer goods, plastic and metal, everything is just, people pay for anything these days. Parking lots and sprawling cities, destroying natural beauty with the concrete jungles. By removing large-scale industry and transportation, we could return to green forests, fertile farmland, and open meadows. There's more than enough land to support small communities. If managed properly, food production would be sustainable and localized, reducing reliance on harmful industrial farming. A small-scale society would mean no factory farming, ethical treatment of animals, no industrial pollution, clean air, water and soil, no deforestation for consumer production, resourcing natural ecosystems. So there's no government, no taxes, no corruption. Large governments would require enormous resources to function. Taxes fund bureaucracies, corruption thrives, and public services are often inefficient. In a small, self-sufficient community, there is no need for government. But everyone is responsible for the community's survival. People self-police through social accountability. There are no faceless laws or distant enforcers, only direct relationships. Instead of relying on government institutions, economic energy is directly towards raising children for communal support, growing food and maintaining resources, building deep social bonds, and creating a stress-free, harmonious way of life. So in conclusion, I think the future lies in small societies. The fundamental flaw of civilization is scale. As society grows, people lose personal agency. Democracy becomes an illusion, and economic system breeds dependency rather than self-sufficiency. And so by returning to small, self-sufficient communities, we regain true democracy. We gain a general social accountability, a deep connection to nature, meaningful work tied directly to survival, a life of purpose, fulfillment, and cooperation, instead of living in a world where people are free to abandon responsibilities, exploit resources, and live without consequences. We can create a society where every action matters, every relationship is real, and every person is truly accountable. So the question is, are we ready to give up the illusion of freedom for a life of true meaning? Thanks for listening. That's what I think the problem of scale is.